everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve. We've got a very special episode with two guests today, Joyce Fidler and my dear friend Joan Powers that I haven't seen in ages. So I am so excited to speak to these two incredible people. We'll dive into their backgrounds in a minute. So please, watch this episode on the Discovery Pod with Eve's YouTube channel, or you could listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. I am joined today by my co-host, Tess Broussard. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. It is actually French, but Tess she's a model, she's an actress, she's a comedian, she does it all, and she's also a single mother, and she rescues animals. So Tess, yes. Welcome to another episode of the Discovery Pod. It's so good to have you with us today. I know you're constantly busy. Is there something that you would love our listeners to know about what you're working on?
Well, I've got different projects right now looking at on the horizon, and I'm actively looking at them with my agent. But on the weekends, I am busy right now working and volunteering, getting animals adopted, except for today.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Incredible. I am so excited about today's episode. I'm all about female empowerment, and we've got two incredible female actresses. I mean, they do it all. And so I'm looking forward to hearing their journeys, their stories. And
Yes.
I think it's going to be a fantastic interview or episode or conversation, whatever it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited today to introduce Joyce Fidler. She's an actress, she's a singer, and she's also an author. She's got a new book out called The Evolution of a Baby Boomer, Life Beyond Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. So please make sure you pick up a copy of this book wherever it's available on Amazon. So Joyce, welcome to the Discovery Pod with Eve. It's so good to have you.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Joyce, your memoir, Evolution of a Baby Boomer, Life Beyond Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. You're sharing such a powerful and transformative life experience. And tell me, why did you want to write this book, and what do you want the readers to learn from reading your book?
Well, in February, I will turn 75.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Yes.
Fantastic.
thank you.
You started writing this book at
20 years ago. I
Okay.
started writing it
but
20
you
years
published
ago.
it
Just in April.
so at 74.
Yes.
You look
exactly.
incredible.
Well,
Oh my
thank
goodness.
you.
That's
it's those
amazing.
Hawaiian jeans, those Japanese Hawaiian
What,
jeans.
you look fantastic.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Roger's like shaking his head.
So yes, and at my age, literally every week, somebody is either dying or they're getting some critical illness. And as I say, I started the book 20 years ago, and I had taken part of the content about 6 years ago, and I created a one-woman show called Evolution of a Pisces Baby Boomer. And I
Nice.
had these two characters in the show that were fish swimming in
my
opposite
gosh.
directions. And I performed it around LA in sold-out houses, in 3 different theaters, 5 different shows. And then I put it all aside. And recently I thought, seriously, are you going to die with your book in a box under your bed?
Wow, that's
Or
fantastic.
are you going to get it out and do something with it? So,
Congratulations. I
Well,
mean,
thank
it's incredible. Your life has spanned many creative chapters, from music to acting to writing. What has been the most transformative moment in your creative journey, and how has it shaped your identity?
that's a great question. You know, I love every part of my life. I have had a big, huge life. And
Wow.
I've done things that many people live their entire lives wishing they could do. For example, I owned a business. I was an entrepreneur for 10 years. From 1973 to 83, I owned a record store, which was also a head shop. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's where people buy bongs. So I did that from 73 to 83.
Oh my gosh!
And then toward the end of that, I started singing in bands, and my band opened for the Go-Go's, and we opened for Meatloaf. We had a music video to a song I wrote on MTV on a show called The Basement Tapes. And that might have been maybe the most empowering moment, just because it allowed me to see that, you can take the smallest thing and create something huge from it, right? Mm-hmm. In fact, I was in school. I was getting a master's in radio and television, and I was in a cinematography class.
Oh my gosh, you've done it all.
I really have. And the teacher assigned us homework to create a video, and I brought in the specs for MTV for their Basement Tapes show.
Fantastic.
And I said, how would I have to do my homework in order to qualify to submit it to MTV? And he said, well, you'd have to shoot it on film, because this was back in the 80s. There were no cell phones. I had to hire a production company, and I had to spend $10,000 off my own money to create that video.
Oh, wow. Can you tell me who, you said, you had mentioned something, we were talking, and you said that a certain celebrity came to your show when you were performing.
Yes.
And can you tell us who it is?
That would be Meryl Streep.
Oh.
Her brother-in-law is still her brother-in-law. He was our guitar player in our band.
My gosh.
And so her husband came to one of our rehearsals to kind of check us out and see if we were, any good, because he wasn't going to take his wife to see a show that sucked.
Yeah.
So he came to our house to check us out, and then when the next time they were in town to visit family, they came to see our show. And I don't want to say Indianapolis is didn't have much excitement going on, but it made the paper at the end of the year. It was like the time Meryl Streep went to see Abstractions at the Hummingbird.
Yeah, that's
that
incredible.
So nice.
So we often talk about success, but failure can be just as impactful.
Right.
How has failure taught you more about yourself? And how do you use those lessons to propel yourself forward?
I love that. I would say that would have to do with my alcoholism and drug addiction. I did spend 20 years, from ages 20 to 40, as a daily pot smoker and drunk. And that was fun. And as they say in recovery, it was fun, then it was fun with problems, and then it was just more problems than anything else. And my kids were 13 and 16, and they basically, when I said, I'm leaving Indianapolis, I'm going to LA, I'm going to go pursue my dreams, and they were like, yeah, see ya. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And they said, yeah, we're not going. We're going to stay behind and be with Dad.
Wow.
And it was very traumatic.
Is that what started your journey into mental health and advocacy? And
the only advocacy I do is in recovery. Once I was sober, it was interesting because people told me that I needed to suit up and show up and do whatever God put in front of me. Yeah. And it turned out that I became a special education teacher. And so I did that for the first 23 years here in LA.
I love your story. And, I started this podcast after losing my father. I really wanted to use my voice in a positive way to not educate, but bring awareness. And your journey, I am so glad Martin Hale introduced us together. It was Martin who referred, and your story is going to resonate and help so many people out there. Last season, we had Jeremy Miller, who from Growing Pains, very successful at age 4, but Jeremy shared his journey, that his grandparents, he used to drink, and he's always going to consider himself an alcoholic.
Right.
So tell us, how are you able to cope with all that you went through 20 years ago?
Well, basically, I followed the lead of other people who have had successful recovery lives, and I've done what they've said, which is basically, look every day for something that somebody somehow that you can be helpful. When I leave here today, I'm going to go help with a fundraiser at a church that I'm very active in, and I volunteer there every Tuesday at a houseless drop-in center, and I've repaired all the relationships that I destroyed behind my alcoholism.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, my youngest daughter lives in Sydney, Australia, and
I love Sydney.
She and her husband have lived there for the past 10 years, and we were on a FaceTime with them last night, finalizing all our plans. My husband and I are taking a trip we're calling 100 Years of Life and Love, and we're going to celebrate my upcoming 75th birthday and his and my 25th anniversary, which is a personal best.
Yeah.
Because
where are you going?
we'll be in Sydney,
I love
and
Sydney.
we'll be on the water watching the fireworks over
right there by
the Opera House.
Yes,
Mhm.
I stayed in that area.
Oh,
right
beautiful.
there.
We climbed the Sydney Harbor Bridge the last time we were
my
there.
gosh.
And when we got to the top of the bridge, we sang karaoke overlooking the Opera House.
Does your husband sing?
He does. He's got a great voice. In fact, we sang in our wedding. We sang an Everly Brothers tune, and he has a higher voice than I, so he sang above me, and I sang under. And we now use that as the lullaby that we sing to our granddaughter whenever she stays. We sing that, Let It Be Me.
What do you want to tell our audience and listeners about this book?
Well, the book is a memoir that many people asked me to, for years, they kept saying, oh, you have the wildest, craziest story, you should write a book. And so I've written the book, and the most amazing thing about it has been the people who have written reviews that I've been able to read on, like Amazon, where it's there as a Kindle, it's there as a paperback, and it's there as an audiobook. And in the audiobook, there are clips of my band playing, recorded songs. And when people have written the reviews, they are coming from every aspect of my life. Like there's the guy that sat next to me in homeroom in high school, and he lives in Florida, and he bought my book and read it and talked about, how it was inspiring to him. And it's like being at my own memorial and hearing people say nice things about me. Usually you're not around to hear the nice things people have to say about your life at the end of your life. Not that I hope I'm very close to the end, but let's face it.
You look like you're 30,
70s
so
and 40.
Well, my
look like you're
husband
30.
is 12 years my junior. So I think
that
be,
also helps, right?
You're a total cougar.
Right.
That's all right.
Well,
Smidgy poo.
hey, did you hear that? We should go after younger guys,
Exactly.
right? 20 years younger for me. So that's what I need.
It's just 12.
Hey, is anyone out there?
No, when he and I started dating, we realized, if I had taken him to my senior prom, I'd have taken a first grader, which could have been inappropriate.
we don't think like that. You got to go up in age. Yeah, and think
No,
about that.
he was 37. I was 49 when we married.
So Joyce, your story resonates, I guess, with so many people, and because it's so human and introspective.
Thanks.
What do you hope people will take away from your work as an actress and an author?
Well, I hope they'll understand that it's never too late. I just had an audition for a feature film Thursday, I guess it was.
Congratulations.
And thank you. In fact, I've had the biggest, most exciting auditions in the past 6 months.
Wow.
I haven't booked them, but the casting.
It doesn't matter.
I
It's
know.
the journey,
You'll get
right?
one.
It's the journey, and you're continuing to go on those auditions. So.
Exactly. And, I study with one of the most well-regarded acting teachers here in LA, and I said to him last December, maybe I should just take the working actor off the list. I've done so many things that people just wish they could do. Be a singer in a band?
Oh, my
What?
God, that's fantastic.
And maybe I should just take that off the list. And he said, oh, no. No, you are so close, and there are way more roles for you than in your age range.
And you don't. But first of all, you don't look that, so you should not even consider it. So you've experienced both the highs and the lows in this challenging side of the entertainment industry. How did your experiences of owning a record store and a singer and an MTV video shape the way you approached your acting career today?
Well, here's the thing I heard at an AA meeting with a very famous guitar player, Eric Clapton. He said that he's a guy who plays guitar between meetings.
Wow.
Now, he's a pretty talented guitar player, and I figure if he can put his career in that perspective, I can do the same. So if I go to an audition and they don't choose me, I try not to take it personally, and I try to just say next.
Of
and
course.
I had a huge audition a few months ago that would have been life-changing had I booked it. I saw an animation of who they have in that role. She's somebody really huge, and so they might have decided to go really big. I have no control over things like that.
And
Right.
it's not about you.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's a very specific look. It's the specificity.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with you.
And that was a singing audition, and I hired the coach from The Voice, and I really was happy with my performance.
Well,
They
you
didn't
gave it your
pick me.
best. That's do your best always.
Right. But at the end of the day, I'm able to say, well, that audition was something I did between meetings, and I go to meetings almost every day. I just happen to be one of those people who finds it helpful, and I get asked to speak a lot. I've spoken at a meeting in Bali. I've been
Incredible.
I've been to meetings in Dublin and Paris and New Zealand.
I have another
I love
question.
New Zealand.
Me too.
So, failure and rejection are tough and common in this world. Looking back, what do you see as some of the hardest rejections you faced, and how did you turn those experiences around into positive steps forward?
Well, the biggest rejection I ever experienced was my children saying, we're not moving with you. And my youngest daughter didn't move out to California to be with me until I was 3 years sober. Wow. So during those 3 years, it was incumbent upon me to prove that I was not the mother who she, and here's the thing, I really traumatized my kids. I didn't mention that I had a boyfriend and I moved him into our house, but only for the last 6 years of my marriage to their dad.
Oh my, your journey is incredible. But we're down to the last 2 minutes. And if you were to have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Well, I think I would choose my mother for my first person. I'm wearing her shirt today.
Oh,
and she just was such a wonderful human being. I would like a do-over with Meryl Streep.
Oh, I love that.
Because
So we forgot to ask you another question. What else are you working on that you would love to plug? Is there anything new that you...
I haven't decided yet. Several people who reviewed my book have said they think it would make a great miniseries, or they think I should turn it into a novel, or that maybe it should be a screenplay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go back and rework my one-woman show.
Incredible.
Or, I don't know.
Joyce.
Sounds like you've got options.
Joyce, it's been an honor and inspiration to have you on the Discovery Pod with Eve. Your journey is a testament to the power of growth, reinvention, and embracing every chapter of your life. Thank you, and I look forward to having you back. What an honor it's been to have her here.
Yes.
What incredible...
Such an interesting story.
I know. It's like we could just go on and on and on.
It's such a journey up and down, and I get the parenting thing.
I know. It's
Parenting
been
is
incredible.
hard.
It's hard. Great learnings. Joyce, thanks again. For anyone out there who wants to follow you on Instagram or what, just plug your website or what.
It's joycefidler.com, and I'm Joyce on a lot of the social media. Joyce Nana on TikTok.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, she's got a book out there, The Evolution of a Baby Boomer, Life Beyond Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. Where could folks buy this?
It's actually everywhere, but easy to get it on Amazon, where it's there as a Kindle book or a paperback or an audio book.
Incredible. Ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to us. Please tune in every Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific time to watch this inspiring episode, or to find out when this episode airs. You could watch us on the Discovery Pod with Eve's YouTube channel or your favorite podcast. Roger Neal, thank you so much. Jamie, thank you. Gosh, Tess, thank you so much for co-hosting with me. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. Would look forward to hearing all about what you're working on. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned. We'll be right back with my friend, actress Joan Powers. Hey everyone, welcome back. Oh my gosh, Tess, wasn't that interview with Joyce just fantastic?
Yeah, it was so inspirational.
It was. She was fantastic. Gosh, and I am so excited. I'm gonna contain myself. I'm so excited to have my dear friend that I haven't seen in God knows, my dear friend, an exceptionally talented actress, Joan Powers. Joan is not only a co-producer and star of various TV shows and films, she also serves as executive director of ZA Studio. ZA Studio is an acting school with, acting schools in San Francisco, Honolulu, where Joan is actually dialing in from, LA, and online. And I was so fortunate to have met Joan 2 years ago. I actually trained with ZA Studio for 2 years, and the co-founders are Rob Zimmerman and Peter Alice, whom you got to see during season 1, and I still train with Peter. But Joan and I connected over the loss of our mothers. It is so incredible to have Joan here with us today. Joan, welcome to the Discovery Pod with Eve.
Thank you so much, Eve and Roger, for having me today.
Hi, Joan. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, Tess.
Hi.
I'm well, thank you.
I have a couple of questions. So you have a background in martial arts, and you were in Magnum PI Hawaii and NCIS Hawaii. Did you use any of those martial arts in any of those roles? And if not, then what did you use your martial arts roles for?
I did not use my martial arts in those specific roles. I was a judge in Magnum PI, and I was a housewife that was murdered in NCIS Hawaii. But what I could say that I did use for my martial arts is that the confidence that I have as a black belt, that's what I brought in when I did the role as a judge.
Fantastic. So, Joan, the entertainment industry is ever evolving. How do you approach staying relevant and innovative as an actress and mentor in such a fast-paced industry?
Well, I believe you just have to put yourself out there and create your own content if you're not receiving a lot of auditions. So what I've done with that is wrote my own web series with a partner that I have. And
congratulations, Joan. That's fantastic. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, you have to create things for yourself if your dream jobs or your dream roles aren't being put in front of you. So write your own stuff.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about your web series and where we can watch it.
Well, we haven't put it out yet, but it is about two very good friends. One is recently divorced and out on the dating scene, and the other is a stay-at-home mom who feels a little bored with what's going on in her life, and so she lives vicariously through her her single friend and thinks that her life is so exciting, the dating life, and then she finds out that it's not because of some of her friends' dating experiences that she tells her about like the next morning. So
juicy.
It's a comedy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you've worked in diverse locations, obviously, from the vibrant LA, which we are in,
Yes.
to the serene landscape of Hawaii. How have these contrasting environments influenced your creative process?
Could you repeat the question?
Yes.
Eve?
So you've worked in diverse locations. You've worked in LA. You've worked in Hawaii. So how have these contrasting environments influenced your creative process in terms of the way you approach roles? Being in LA or being in Hawaii, what's the difference between the way you approach roles?
I don't think there's much of a difference, actually. I approach roles in a very professional way. At ZA Studios, we're taught to do a lot of research on what roles that we are taking on. And so just being a professional, making sure I research who I'm working with, research the character, create a really good character, compelling character. And I think that helps make a more compelling character when you're performing.
Yeah.
And so in LA and Honolulu, you just have to be professional.
So I'm going to piggyback on that. One of the things that Tess has mentioned earlier was she's never heard of ZA. I was fortunate, and I'm still part of the ZA world because I still train with Peter, and Peter is like someone that I call every time. So tell our listeners and audiences, as you're being an executive director of the schools with all the various locations in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Honolulu, and online, tell us something about ZA and what sets ZA apart from other acting schools.
What I love about ZA is when I first started, I was attending other acting classes prior, but there was something missing where I didn't know how to get into the world of acting as a professional. And I think with ZA Studios, one of the things we do with beginner actors is we give them a roadmap or some guidance on how to get started with becoming a professional actor. So we offer administrative groups where we have meetings every week to help the actors with their headshots. We talk about them signing up for websites like Actors Access, putting together a reel, having your package together so that you can start submitting yourself to agents or managers. And just so that when you're called in for an audition, casting directors see that you are ready and that you're a professional.
Incredible.
That's great. Having worked on both TV and theater, can you speak about some of the biggest differences when transitioning between the two, and how do you prepare for each?
I prepare for each in the exact same way. I would say the biggest difference from the small screen to stage is that you have more freedom to move around and move your body.
Yes.
And just you do have to be bigger. They always say you have to be bigger, and which is fun, and you just kind of let your energy out to the audience. You want everything that you say or do to reach the audience in front of you, and so that they can have that catharsis while they're watching your show.
Fantastic. So Joan, looking ahead, you spoke about your web series. What's next for you, Joan? I know you're always busy. So what is the next big thing or your next collaboration? What excites you?
Oh, well, the next thing that I hope to work on, hopefully it's starting, is a pilot that a friend of mine shot here in Hawaii.
Oh, congratulations.
And, yeah, that's going to be very exciting. So it's it's about local actor, not local actors, but it consists of local actors here in Hawaii, and it's about a family and their struggles day to day, and they're going to have a lot of scenic views of Hawaii, which is also, I feel Hawaii is a cast member. Anytime you see a show about Hawaii, you have to have the scenic views. And also, I'm on board for a short to feature production. So that's going to be filming in April.
Fantastic. That's congratulations.
I see you playing as like some kind of strong woman, and you got to use those martial arts background and incorporate it somewhere in the film, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's the dream, that's what all the training is for.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can incorporate some of that, or it will be written into the scripts, especially if the pilot goes into a series. But for the short to feature production, I'm going to be playing a mom.
Oh, wonderful.
And I don't think she's going to be doing any martial arts.
That's fantastic. So, Joan, having been in the industry for quite a while, we have to deal with a lot of rejection. How do you stay grounded, and what keeps you mentally, what energizes you to just keep moving forward?
Well, one thing we learned at ZA Studios, taught by Robert Zimmerman and Peter Alice, is that your acting career is a marathon, not a sprint.
I like that.
So definitely you have to be in it for the long run. Some people get their breaks early, but other people, everyone's journey is different.
Yes.
So just to stay at it and persevere and just keep going, don't give up.
That's a good advice.
Yeah, my next question was going to be. Like, people in the entertainment world face a lot of rejection and failures, and some people can't take rejection. It's really, really hard. I know for me it was hard in the beginning, and then I just had to let it roll off me like water off of a duck's back. So I think that's really great what you said, just not take it personally and just keep moving on. And what would you tell people that are new to this, because you seem very seasoned and you're you're director of a acting school? What would you tell these new students?
Yeah.
How to face these, kind of rejections and challenges. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I would share my experience with them. First of all, let them know that, hey, I've been doing this for a while, and rejection is, you have to have a hard skin in this business, and don't take it personally. Just have faith in yourself and trust others and what others have to others' advice to you, and know that to keep going. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be down. Everyone's journey is different.
That's so true. Yeah. And it's one of the things that I learned at ZA Studio. Everyone's journey, and you're right, everyone has a totally different trajectory in this world. Your work on Hidden Gems combine both physicality and emotion. How do you prepare for roles that demand so much of you, both mentally and physically?
Well, for Hidden Gems, I was a yoga instructor on a stand-up paddleboard.
Wow.
And that's something, I've done yoga for 7 years, but I've never done it on a stand-up paddleboard. So what I did to prepare was that I took several classes of yoga on a stand-up paddleboard just so I know that I could do it.
Wow.
And it actually wasn't that hard, because through years of yoga, I've already built up a really good core. So when I had to be on the water and do certain yoga poses, and I can even do a headstand.
Oh my gosh, Joan, that's fantastic.
And you just have to do research and get out there, perform the role, interview people who are in that career, and ask them how, how is it that you teach? What is your philosophy? Why are you teaching? So
That's fantastic.
I still to this day, even when I was a kid, I couldn't even do a stand on my head. It was just too hard. And I'm not that big of a person. I'm tiny, so I could do cartwheels, but kudos to you. My next question is, like, when you have an audition and you get them, you being a director at an acting school, do you even need a coach, or what do you do? How do you? I know this is no. I'm serious. Do you need somebody
Yes,
help
I
you?
still need a coach. Yes, yeah. Acting is a forever learning experience. So definitely, I do reach out if it's a difficult role that I know it's not in my back pocket. I've never done before. I reach out to our teachers. We have a few: Christine Klugen, Peter Alice, Robert Zimmerman, and
I forgot about Christine. She's fantastic.
Yes, and Christine's in LA too. She's in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica, yeah.
Yeah, she's an excellent coach.
You have a ZA school there in Santa Monica?
No, she teaches in the ZA school is in North Hollywood, but she lives in
I'll have to get some of these names from you guys.
Yes.
And numbers.
Yes, you do, Tess.
I don't know any of these people.
Christine is incredible. So just gotta put, hey, Christine, I miss you. Hope you're doing well. And Peter and all of the students at ZA Studio. Joan, going back, what advice, I know you are so good at coaching, mentoring all of the actors coming into ZA Studio. There are so many people out there in the world who want to get into the entertainment industry thinking they're going to get discovered in 5 minutes. What advice would you give anyone out there who's thinking about, transitioning careers to acting?
I would say go for it. Go. If that's what you want to do it.
But it's also difficult. It's a lot of work.
Yes, it's a lot of work. Be prepared to work your ass off. Can I say that?
I like that.
It's hard. Yeah, it's not easy, but if that's what you want to do it. Why not?
And Joan, one of the things I gotta say, she lives a very clean, healthy lifestyle. It's important to put it out there. She's
great.
She's been a vegan for how many years?
It's been 4 years. I became a vegan during lockdown in 2020.
Okay, I tried to become a vegan. It's so hard. I can't do it because I get so tired. What do you take? Do you take supplements? I mean, I try to eat beans, but that, doesn't work, for your protein. So, you get the idea. Like, what do you do not to get tired? Because I get tired very easy. So my go-to is chicken and protein. I don't know about yours.
I'll go with Joan. Let Joan. She's
well, I always start out my mornings with a fruit smoothie, so mixed berries, and I add a plant-based protein powder to that with a whole leaf of kale and chia seeds. So I think berries in the morning, those natural sugars and antioxidants.
Oatmeal.
Yeah. And I eat a lot of oatmeal every time.
I do too. I love oatmeal.
I know she does.
Creamy, like pour the milk and the cream on it. With berries.
I use almond milk.
I use oat milk. That's creamy, and then the regular milk I use almond milk.
And she is a vegan. Like, she will not eat from any restaurant. It has to be like a vegan. Like, seriously, even with fruit, I'm like, come on, Joan, you gotta eat this fruit. Joan is like, no, Eve, she only eats berries. She's so disciplined, and I admire her. So, Joan, going back to ZA Studio, just because a lot of people would want to know about, ZA Studio, we've got 2 incredible founders, and we've got some incredible teachers like, Christine, who's in Santa Monica. Just tell us a little bit about, ZA's technique, because people will wonder, what is ZA's technique?
Well, we teach scene study, and Peter Alice, Robert Zimmerman, and Christine Klugen all were trained by Milton Katselis. And so what we do is, you can say it's the Katselis technique.
What is that?
So
I'm like totally lost here.
I know
I'm sorry.
she was gonna ask that question.
I think you're gonna have to, Tess. You're gonna have to audit a class.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just buy a first class ticket to Hawaii like after this, and I'll meet you there in Hawaii. I'll be there. Let's see, it's 4 hours behind. I'll see you before dinner.
I like that. And actually, I got to give a shout out to some of my friends, Mary as well, and Alex Richardson, whom I introduced to Roger as well. All of those wonderful students at ZA Studio. I mean, I may not be attending class every week, but I am still working with Peter. But it's so helpful. And you're so right about the scene study. And also watching the movies. We get to watch movies and we get to watch plays. Can you talk about some of those as well?
Yes, so we're assigned movies and plays to read every 4 weeks. And so that's also part what ZA does to make you a whole actor. So you're not just studying scenes. You're also reading significant plays, watching old movies so that you're familiar with what Hollywood has done in the past, because every director is inspired by something, inspired by a certain movie. They like what they did in Citizen Kane, or they like what they saw in Double Indemnity, things like that. So we learn more than just scene study. We definitely learn about movies and cinematography and writers and directors.
Do you guys also do improv and like how you do? Oh, that's great. And how long does this like a program last? Like if somebody was to sign up?
It's ongoing.
Oh,
So
it
it's
is.
like it's every month. It's ongoing. Like I was there for 2 years, but it's ongoing. And you see yourself as an actor, the evolution, because when you put up a scene with someone else, you get critiqued in class, which Joan could speak to.
Yes, so you're assigned scenes, and then you have 2 weeks to rehearse the scene, and then you bring it into the class and you perform the scene in front of your peers and the teacher, and then you receive notes about your performance and how you can create a better character, and then you bring it back.
Oh my goodness, Joan. I see Roger right there telling me we've got 3 minutes left. It's been fantastic.
No, Roger, no. More.
No, but remember, I'm expecting you here in LA next season. You're going to come host. I would love for you to come host as well. It's been fantastic having you, Joan, on the Discovery Pod. What an honor to have you on this. I really hope you enjoyed this experience as well. But for me, it's been wonderful getting to see you. Tess, this has been great having Joan.
You know what? You talked so much about her, and I want Joyce as my friend. I mean, Joan as my friend too. So,
we're all friends now.
Yes, I'm so happy.
Of course, when she comes, we're gonna have dinner together. This has been great, and of course, Tess, thank you so much. Joan, please plug your Instagram and all your social media accounts. Let the audiences know your social accounts.
Yes, follow me on Instagram at joanpowers.85, or you can look at my website at joan-powers.com.
Joan, thanks again for sharing your journey, the lessons you've learned, and the wisdom you offer to both students and peers alike. It's been amazing having you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve. Roger Neal, thank you. Jamie, thank you. Tess, thank you so much, my dear friend. Joan, I miss you, and I want to see you soon. All the students at ZA Studio. Bye.
Nice to meet you, Joan.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you watch this episode on the Discovery Pod with Eve's YouTube channel, or you could listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. You never know who's going to stop by next week, so please make sure you watch us. Again, thank you, Joan. Bye. Love you, my dear friend. See you soon. Bye.